Hey guys, it's Sam. It's Thursday, April 9th, 2009, and I'm recording this in my car. Again, we've done this before. Basically, I have a lot of roommates, and sometimes it's hard to talk when you think people might be listening to you, so car, where strangers walk by and think you're weird for talking to yourself. That's preferred. So, this week we're talking about assumptions and gender stereotypes and how we deal with them. And that's actually like a huge part of my life. I wrote like copious tiny notes and like ran out of space and went on the side and went on the back. Assumption number 1, orientation. So I look pretty darn dykey, and if people don't read me as male, they read me as dykey, and that's okay, but it means that they assume that I am only attracted to women, femininity, and that of course I wouldn't look twice at a boy. And that's not true. I think that it's really crappy that how you look and present yourself to the world means that people assume things about your orientation. Like, I went to this bar, I don't know, like 2 years ago or something, and there were these girls who were dancing on the pool table, and everyone was, like, totally into it. And I was just like, well, I feel weird. Like, everybody thought it was the hottest thing in the world, and I was just like, nope, it's not doing anything for me. I'd rather go outside and kick a can around on the ground. Like, it did nothing. I am attracted to masculinity in lots of forms, and it's just frustrating that people assume that that's not the case. I really feel personally that in redefining my gender, I feel more able to express my attraction to any kind of gender, and that's really freeing from these confining stereotypes, being attracted to whoever I'm attracted to. Regardless of how I identify and present myself, and regardless how they identify and present themselves. Assumption number 2. My name is Sam, and I like male pronouns. So people assume that I am trans. And that is somewhat true in my newer understanding of what it means to be trans. They may not understand the word trans in the way that I understand it. A female-bodied person has always felt like a boy on the inside, and they want to be able to express that on the outside and transition and be male. And that's not really how I feel. It's more complicated than that, and it involves the whole genderqueer thing. So that's an assumption that people make. Assumption number 3. So I was at work the other day, and when I help people, I tend to speak in a higher voice because it sounds polite. And this one woman wanted help finding a video for these 2 10-year-old boys. I thought, why not Jumanji? So like I went and I picked up the box and I showed it to them, and she turned to the boys and she was like, what about this one? That's what the video store lady says. And I just like cringed and was like, oh my god, I'm not a lady. Just because I have a high voice doesn't mean I'm a lady. I almost wanted to like throw up on her. Like I had this really strong physical reaction that I of course could do nothing about, and of course would never act on in that context of being at work. I just had to bite my tongue and smile, and it was terrible. So, assumptions. I may have a high voice, but I don't identify as female. Assumption number 4. Why can't you just be a boy who likes to wear dresses? Why does that mean that you have to be a girl to wear dresses? It's really interesting. Like, I was working on this film about gender fluid kids, and this one child, really liked dresses and dolls and was male-bodied and wanted to be a girl. And a lot of it seemed rooted in activities and dress, and I fully respect that the child's choice and the parent's choice for really embracing that identity. But I fear that it's teaching the child that if you are male, you can't like dolls. If you are male, you can't wear dresses. Like, it's more complicated than that. So that's an assumption that I think that our society makes, and I think it's sad and limiting. I just worry that because of stereotypes of masculine and feminine behavior, decisions would be made regarding the sex of a child that could just be a boy who likes dresses, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, society's assumptions. Assumption number 5. So, if I am trans, I am not tough. Kind of what Stefan was talking about. I'm not tough. I'm really not. I'm not very strong. I don't like scary movies. I don't like bugs. Like, in all the ways that you can be a tough guy, I'm not a tough guy. And there's an assumption and a stereotype about being trans that you need to embody these characteristics. And again, I think it's more complicated than that. I think that should be the name of this video. It's more complicated than that. Personality thing versus physical body thing. Like, if I desire a flat chest, if I desire a lower voice, if I desire to be less curvy, why does that then mean that I must be tough and macho and all the other characteristics and assumptions and stereotypes that go along with being male? Because I don't embody those things whatsoever. I mean, I certainly don't fit into the hyper-feminine categories either. But it's just more complicated than that. Assumption number 6. So I'm really in between, and I defy and fit stereotypes and assumptions about both genders. And it's kind of messed up that I fit some of them, because of course that's where stereotypes come from. I fit some and defy others of both genders. So in being a girl, I don't like pink, but I do like to cuddle. And being a boy, I'm not tough, but I do like having a flat chest. I'm very combination. Like, I've got this feminine personality and desiring a male body. I'm defying stereotypes and assumptions in both categories at the same time as embracing some of both categories. And I think that the combination of that is what people tend to not see. Stereotype number 7. Have you guys ever heard about that study with babies? It's like a classic sociology, psychology study or something. So there's a woman sitting in a room, and they bring in a baby wearing a pink hat. And the woman assumes that the baby is a girl. And she's very careful with how she plays with the baby and cuddles her very carefully and looks at her and says, "You're going to grow up to be so pretty." And then they take the baby away, and they take the same baby, pop a blue hat on him, and bring the baby back out. And the woman assumes that the baby is male and is much more tough and active with how she plays with the baby, and says, "You're gonna grow up to be so strong." Assumptions from birth. And I think that's why being genderqueer is so revolutionary, is that we're finally breaking these things that have been so strongly just put on us since we were born. And I really hope that in the future we're able to just go beyond this gender thing and really just be people, regardless of our sex or gender. I'm sure there's tons more stereotypes and assumptions that didn't come to mind yet. I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.